Hello, everyone. 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭, Film Nerd Pictures presents here. I am here interviewing the great Jonas Barnes. Hi, Jonas. How are you?
Hey, Jackie, how you doing today?
It was good. It was so nice talking with you for a few minutes and catching up with you before the interview. It's great to get to know
Great,
you.
yeah. It's a good thing. Knowing a lot of the same people and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And how's Georgia treating you? Good?
George is great. George is great. I wish there was a bit more work here,
Okay.
not just for me, but for like everybody. But it is what it is. We still have some great teams and stuff here. So
Understood. Well, you can always come up to Jersey by me. They're doing a lot of filming up here. So,
I heard
yeah,
it's all New York, Jersey.
yeah. You
Not
can
right now if you're
bring
filming in
it.
the United States.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I've been connected with you for a while on LinkedIn now, and I've been a big admirer of your work. I always read your posts. I always see what you're up to. Just always
Thanks.
in awe of the stuff that you're doing. It seems like you really have your thumb on the pulse, like you know what's going on, like you know what's up. And I am curious, how did you get your start in the film industry? What made you want to go into film? Were you always a cinemaholic? Like, what made you want to get into
No,
it?
quite the opposite. I was going to be a professional basketball player. That
Oh,
was my grand plan.
wow.
Yes, I was, when you're, 18 years old, you're a little delusional.
Sure.
I broke my ankle.
Oh,
And one of the classes that I was in was this basically arts study class.
mm,
And the final like project you had to do had to incorporate multiple different arts in it. So
mm,
sound, picture, and I was like, oh, that's a movie.
right.
So instead of doing a whole bunch of different ones,
Mm,
I made a movie.
wow.
And just like, not thinking about it, like just no, I'm doing something. And it was extremely well received.
Awesome.
Like it was, in fact, it was the favorite of everybody's like projects, and mostly probably because I kept it short and sweet and you know was like got it on the page and moved forward.
Yeah, no,
But, uh, after I broke my ankle, I kind of didn't know what to do with myself.
Mhm.
And a friend of mine was like, dude, you've made a great movie. Why don't you try doing that?
Yeah,
So then I shifted my efforts over to filmmaking.
amazing.
Yeah, and yeah, I started in college, like working on Disney films, Disney down at UC San Diego.
Okay.
Anything that would come to UC San Diego, I basically went down to the local film commission
Mhm.
and I just would register my name for different jobs. And crazy enough, no one else was doing it. Like
Wow.
it was just, like no one else had thought to go down to the film commission. But like when Disney would call, they would call the film commission and be like, send us everybody.
Yeah.
My name would always be at the top of the list because I was the only name on the list.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
right.
Right.
So, so I got a lot of jobs while I was in college doing that. I worked on Titanic, worked a lot of like Disney TV shows for kids TV shows shot down there. Worked for a
Okay.
company called Foursquare. And then I finally realized like in order to really kind of make it in the film business,
Mhm.
I had to be in Los Angeles. And this is late 90s.
Sure.
So, time of like still great cinema and DVD. I don't think DVD, maybe DVD hadn't come yet.
Yeah.
VHS, I think, was still a thing.
Okay.
But it was a really good time in the film business, but you had to be in Hollywood. Like, you know, that
Yeah.
was an era of like actually printing a script and taking a script to a director's house
Yeah. Yeah, for
or
sure.
an actor's house, that sort of. So yeah, anyways, that's how I got into it.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I miss the times of just hard DVDs, like the physical. Like you still can, but you have to kind of buy them sometimes used in order to
Right.
get a DVD, like the bonus features. It's something about just having it because you could buy a movie on Amazon Prime, but it's not really yours. That you don't really own it. They still own it.
Right. It's in your queue or whatever, right?
It's in your queue until they decide they don't have the rights to it anymore. But yeah, no, for sure. But I do like the days of DVDs, VHSs. Yeah, for sure. Well, that's cool. That's so amazing. And you're 6'8", so obviously you would have been, you're obviously probably a very good basketball player. So,
I was a really horrible basketball player. I just didn't know. I
oh,
just didn't know. Yeah, I had no idea I was a horrible basketball. Look, I
okay.
was. I'm better than the average Joe, but yeah, I'm nowhere near Michael Jordan. So
Well,
yeah,
hey, you gave it a shot, and then look where you are now. It steered you
yeah,
in the right
yeah.
direction. So now you're doing great. So that's awesome. And when I was going through your professional film history, I feel like you're one of the few like legit producers that also has an expertise in marketing. Normally, those are two separate fields, right? Like somebody specialized in marketing, but you know a lot about promoting films. And do you think marketing films is something a lot of indie makers or indie filmmakers or even filmmakers in general underestimate the importance of with film.
I don't think hardly anybody thinks about it other than a few producers, and those producers are probably all top 10 producers,
Right, right.
right? I got very lucky. I landed at a company called Original Film
Hmm.
with a super producer named Neil Moritz.
Okay,
And he has a family history with the film business. His father ran a big company in the 70s and was
right.
also head of the theater owners union.
Okay.
But Neil was very much marketing first. What's the hook? How are we going to sell this thing? So on and so forth. So I got to learn from him about the importance of, having that poster idea, having that trailer idea that was
Mm,
really going to be able to sell your film.
mm,
Um, and yes, I often find it wild that a company will spend, let's just say an indie film,
right.
right? An indie film will spend $3.5 million making a movie,
Yeah.
but they won't spend 5 grand making a poster.
Yeah.
Even if, and to me, a poster is a simple image, A, saying we have something to sell here,
Right.
but B, it also says this is the movie we're making,
Right.
right? Because a poster made by two different filmmakers is two different movies,
Sure.
you
Right.
know.
Yeah. No, you're,
Uh,
yeah.
we made like I Know What You Did Last Summer, Cruel Intentions,
Right.
Fast and Furious, like all these really popcorn movies.
Yeah.
You know, for example, we got the script in for the Alan Ball script for American Beauty,
Mhm.
famous American Beauty, right?
Yeah.
Um, and we passed on it.
Right.
But it's not that that wasn't a great script. It's just we would have done something completely different with that script. So
Yeah.
you understanding how what you're selling in the market you're selling to and so on and so forth. I think it's extremely beneficial.
Mhm.
Not only, it help guides the art
Mhm.
in a way because you understand who your audience is,
For sure.
and yeah. And I think I've always had that kind of like, what is the movies we're making and who are we making this movie for in me?
Right,
You
exactly.
know,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I think,
whereas most filmmakers are making it for themselves.
yeah, no, not for, you're right. And, and it's funny because I think people, back to your point about the poster art, people underestimate how important it is to have a good poster when
Hmm.
promoting the film. Because I'll be honest, even as an audience member or like a movie goer, I passed on films because the poster looked shitty. I hate
Right.
to admit it, but I'm
Right.
like, dude, this is probably, look at the poster. Like they don't care about the film. Like they hardly put any effort into trying to, it's like,
Well, I think also everybody thinks they're going to get Brad Pitt on their poster or something. I don't know what the thinking is yet, but any movie studio you go to,
yeah.
right? Like if you go to the Sony lot,
Mhm.
marketing is a whole other side of the business.
Right.
Marketing can kill your movie,
Sure.
right? They have that much power. They're like, oh no, we ain't gonna be able to sell this thing.
Yeah.
Like they can kill your film really fast. Like people underestimate the like any product that what's wild is in the film and TV business.
Hmm.
People don't think of it as product.
Right.
They think of it as art.
Sure.
And in a way it is art. I'm not saying it's not art, but in order to do anything, you have to be able to sell it at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. There was a movie, and it was Bret Easton Ellis, the guy who wrote American Psycho. It was another movie based on a different novel of his. What was it called? The Rules of Attraction or something. I think it was James Vanderbeek. And I remember seeing it, and it was such a good film. It was very dark, obviously,
For dark, yeah.
it was a good movie, but the way it was marketed was terrible because it was marketed as if it were like a teeny bopper, kind of like, movie for like young.
It's anything other than that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad,
Like
and
a super
and
dark.
apparently,
Yeah.
yeah, apparently it didn't do well in the theaters, and I think it's because it wasn't marketed correctly to the right audience. I think,
I think the subject matter of that movie probably was difficult too for a
sure,
lot of people. You
yeah,
know, the movie Drive,
yeah,
literally probably one of my favorite movies of all time.
great movie, yeah, hmm,
Ryan Gosling, Nicholas Refn is an insane director. I love his Pusher series.
sure.
Right. That was marketed as like Fast and Furious.
Oh,
And now you can look this up. There's like lawsuits of people suing because when they got in there, they realized like this is not Fast and Furious,
right,
right?
right,
And look, it's I obviously that was done because Fast and Furious is such a commodity, and people wanted to glam onto like that marketing power,
Mm,
but the audience feels cheated and angry if you've misguided them into getting into a theater,
yeah,
right, under false pretenses.
sure.
And I think that that's even more to today than anything else. Like it's so hard to get an audience member to go to the movie theater.
Uh-huh.
It's expensive. They have so many other avenues and right in front of them on their cell phone and you know on their TV,
Yeah,
right? And also just other things in life, gaming and these other ways to entertain themselves.
for
Um,
sure.
that if you lie to an audience member, you've broken to trust to it.
Mm,
Right. And I think a lot of, what we're seeing today with what the film business is doing is a lot of broken trust is basically what's happened.
okay. Yeah, I understand. I see what you mean. Like, was there a marketing strategy recently that a film did, or maybe a TV show, that you were just really impressed with, where it was just so outside of the box, like just so original
Well,
that
I was lucky enough to work during the strikes. I
Mhm.
transitioned into just straight marketing for films.
Okay.
So I worked with a great company. I don't want to bring them up because we had a parting of ways, but um, they're a smart company. It doesn't matter. They, that we would do a lot of viral marketing.
Okay.
Okay. And, we would do a lot of things that were basically ways to get the audience to engage and share
Okay.
the film.
Right.
So I'm a huge believer in the fact that we live in an era now. Back when I started in the 1990s,
Mm,
if you wanted to get to an audience, you basically had to go through TV.
mm,
TV, posters, billboards, right?
mm,
Now with social media, not only can you get to the consumer, you can target the consumer,
mm.
right? So, which makes it even more important of who are we making this movie for?
Right.
If I'm making this movie for a 25 and under market,
Hmm.
am I making this for 25 and under women? Am I making this for 25 and under women who like cars? Am I making this? Now I can get to that person,
Interesting.
right?
Right.
And so now that person doesn't want to be sold to
Mm,
on social media, but what they do like to do is be part of the story.
mm.
And I think that's where viral marketing comes in right now. It's such a powerful way.
Yeah.
The most prominent example, it would probably be the Smile movie,
Yes.
right? With
Movie.
the girl who smiles in you'd probably be aware of, but there's multiple other examples of that. But
Mhm.
I feel like the audience wants to be part of the story now.
Mm,
If you go on YouTube, if you go on these places, there's kids out there making their own Halo videos,
right.
making their own Star Wars videos,
Yeah,
right? That's all marketing.
for
That's
sure.
all marketing for Star Wars. That's all marketing for,
Right. Right.
right?
100%. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I
Mm.
remember with the Smile campaign that they would like, they'd be showing a baseball game on TV and somebody would be sitting in the stands with the creepy smile. And it was
Right.
like,
Yeah.
kind of like almost like subliminally,
Then
marketing
people
the
take
film.
that image and they share it with their friends and
Yeah.
and then, oh, what's this movie?
Right.
Oh, it's a movie. It's a movie. It's a movie gag,
Yeah.
like promotion for a film.
Right.
But because they're part of the story, they don't take it as advertising.
For sure.
They
Yeah.
take it as like, oh, this is something cool. These
Right.
people are doing something cool. I want to be part of that. I want to check it out. You know,
Interesting. Yeah.
right? I think Barbie and Oppenheimer was a fantastic example of that. Like people were part of something,
Yeah.
right? I don't know if the trailers themselves sold the movie as much as the community did. You know,
Right. Right.
you
Right.
get somebody to dress up for your film, that's huge,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Throw a party basically for your movie. That's huge. And I think we live in a world of that these days where that type of marketing is far more important than trailer, sizzles, whatever, that
Mhm.
we used to be able to just put on ABC and run nonstop.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Put
Exactly.
$50 million with trailers and sizzles. I think that type of community marketing is not only future, it's the now, right?
Right, right. No, you're right, because it gets people talking more. And then yeah, it's just like more
Yeah.
so than an impressive trailer does. Yeah, it's yeah, and I feel like even with trailers nowadays, when they especially when they screen in the theaters, so many people go in late into movies too and miss the trailers anyway, you know?
7 hours of trailers. I
Yeah,
mean,
people don't want
it's not just that. There's all that marketing ahead of time,
yeah.
and
Right,
you
right.
know,
Yeah,
it's like your time is valuable. Time
it
is a valuable thing.
it is. It's become a
Yeah.
running joke where people are like, yeah, whatever, even if I'm 10 minutes late, there's still gonna be 20 more minutes of who cares?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
like, all right, But yeah, no, you're right, because it's a buzzworthy way of getting people to talk about the film. It's outside of the box, it's something different. And
Yeah.
yeah, you just got to be very creative, right? And but I do want to ask you too, um, I noticed you're going toward mini verticals, like the
Yes. The vertical space. Yeah. I've leaned in. In fact, I'm only in the vertical space right now.
wow, that's amazing. So what is your take on the future of verticals? Like how, like what made you want to do that? Like kind of go into the vertical space.
It's funny. I've been this is just 'cause this is going to be calling myself old, but I've been in this business long enough where I've seen multiple changes,
Mm,
right? I saw when we went from VHS to DVD,
mm,
everybody lost their mind. I'm
yeah,
sure when we went from film to VHS, everybody lost their mind,
sure.
right? I'm
Yeah.
sure when we went when the advent of the TV was happening, everybody lost their mind. Like there's been these points in the business where everybody threw up their hands and was like, it's over,
Hmm.
and this
Hmm.
new thing is going to ruin it all. Streaming's ruining everything. And look, I wouldn't say streaming's ruining everything. I think streaming's changed the business dramatically.
Yeah.
But I also think that there's new technologies that come and change the game. And I think verticals is that.
Okay.
People look at verticals now as what they are now, right? Which
Hmm.
are basically soap operas, mini soap operas. To a
Okay.
point.
Right.
They're feature films that are chopped up into, 60 pieces plus, um, but for what they really are is they are a guilty pleasure, they are entertainment,
Hmm.
and they come to you in the format that most people are on now. They're on the cell phone,
Yeah.
right? So it's entertainment on your cell phone.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's the beginning of an industry,
Hmm.
and I think there's growth that happens from here. I
Interesting.
I also think that, a film is so expensive to make, right?
Hmm.
That the vertical formats are so inexpensive to make.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of a good testing ground,
Okay.
right?
Right.
Where, most companies won't make anything unless there's some sort of IP attached to it.
Okay.
Well, I'm saying with vertical is make the cheap version basically,
Okay.
an MVP, as you might call it, right? Minimum viable product. Test it out in verticals. If it works, let's go make the bigger version of it. Let's
Ah,
make the sexier version of it. Right.
interesting.
This is not a new concept. I mean,
Yeah.
for years, the TV business had basically started in smaller markets like UK,
Hmm.
right? House of Cards would be an example of that.
Hmm.
But they would start these, they would actually go overseas. American producers go overseas, test the TV show over there where it's cheaper to make and see if it connects with an audience, refine it a bit, and then bring it back to the United States and do the bigger version.
Interesting. I wasn't aware of that. I didn't know
Oh,
they.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, and then also, obviously, we live in an era of remakes,
Hmm.
right? We live in an era of sequels. We live in an era of, where everybody's kind of looking for something that's already kind of been tested a bit,
Okay.
right? I mean, that's the bottom line is that once something's out there, it's been tested. Oh, there's an audience for this,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
Sometimes in Hollywood, we try to overdo it and butcher it,
Yeah. That's true.
you know?
Yes.
Right. But yes, I'm leaning into the vertical space because I feel like it's a new industry that's really going to change Hollywood.
Yeah.
It already is. I mean, even though they won't say it, like half of Hollywood is literally working on these right now,
Sure.
while they wait for big Hollywood to come back,
Okay. Okay.
whatever that means, right?
Interesting.
Well,
Right.
they're waiting for the industry. And the industry itself is probably going to stay overseas for another couple of years.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, because I mean, I've been seeing more and more demand for verticals, like, and even like film festivals, they're having vertical film festivals
Yeah.
pop up,
Yeah.
like kinds, like, 'cause, yeah, I think, like you said, people are on the run, they're on the go, and people looking at their phones. It's a convenient way to watch something, get a little quick fix, while you're working,
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's great. That's awesome. Yeah. And now let me ask you too, with marketing, like kind of going back to marketing, AI, a lot of people are up in arms about AI. Some people like it, some people don't.
Right.
How do you feel about AI in regards to film marketing? Do you think there's benefits to using AI? Could it create a more immersive experience for marketing, or what is your take on AI in marketing film?
Here's my take on AI. I,
Okay.
I think AI, like almost everything that's come along, right,
Hmm.
that changes the industry, is a useful tool
Hmm.
to speed things up,
Okay.
right? Like I don't feel like you need, yes, it is killing some jobs, but it's also allowing for creativity to happen at an exponential rate.
Yes.
You can do things like, you know, for example, a script I just had, I needed to put it into a synopsis,
Mm,
right? That
okay.
generally would have taken me hours in the past.
For sure.
Now
Yeah.
I need to get that synopsis to a client.
Hmm.
That synopsis is now done in 15 minutes.
Right.
And 14 of those minutes is me reviewing it.
Mm,
Make sure ChatGPT or whatever hasn't changed it,
yeah.
right?
Right.
That it
Right.
actually has gotten the message that I'm trying to get across to it.
For
You
sure.
know, that type of speed now allows me to get that thing to a client and not burn half my day
Mm,
doing a synopsis, right?
right.
As I mentioned, with like I think I don't know if it was on when we were talking about, but like we used to hand deliver scripts,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
So in order to hand deliver a script back in the day,
Hmm.
you would A, have to print the script.
Right.
Okay. Let's hope your company had a decent printer.
Yeah.
Okay. Hole punch the script,
Uh-huh.
put Brad's in the script,
Hmm.
do a page count. Because
Yeah.
if you sent a script of Steven Spielberg and it was missing page 79,
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
fired. Like,
Right.
we'd run you out of the business for that simple mistake as a, PA or an assistant, right?
Right.
Put it in an envelope, call a courier,
Hmm.
right? Or run it yourself
Hmm.
across town in Los Angeles, you
Hmm.
know? Now I
Right.
push a button. These days I push a button. Oh, by the way, you had to make sure Steven Spielberg actually got it.
Yeah.
Like that it didn't made some maid or somebody didn't pick it up or some, you know what I mean? And throw
Right.
it.
Right. For
Right?
sure.
Like you had to, like there was follow-up that had to happen. Like,
Yeah. For sure.
right?
Yeah.
Now, no one's yelling at email,
Right.
right? Like, you know what I mean, for taking their job.
Right.
I'm
Right.
sure there's a bunch of couriers that were working during that time. They were like,
Yeah.
what's this email thing that's going to kill my whole business? Yeah, I mean, like I look at technology like that. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
is it helping? Is it? I don't feel like it's up to the level of, at least yet, of mimicking or doing anything else. I do feel like repetition, it's extremely helpful with. So when you're talking about marketing,
Uh-huh.
going through data,
Yeah.
right? It used to take me hours to go through data.
Sure.
Now I can get a summary in 12 seconds and move on with my day,
Unbelievable. Yeah.
right? So
Wild.
yeah, I think that type of stuff is helpful. Also, creating temp posters, I think is great.
Hmm.
I've seen a bunch of storyboarding apps, which are great,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's a storyboard artist out there that's a really talented storyboard artist.
Yeah.
And that person's not going to get replaced on like a Michael Bay film,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
You
For sure.
know, but yeah, for me doing a low budget film at $3.5 million where I'm fighting with the financiers about every cent,
Yeah.
that's a problem, right? On a
Right.
microdrama, that's an expense that people are going to gaff at. Like you're going to spend $1,500 storyboarding,
Right.
you
Right.
know,
Good point. Yeah. No,
but but that boarding helps the movie.
yeah, yeah, storyboards are essential. And I don't know, like, and even like I don't know if you've ever edited films, but I worked recently with a film editing program. I think it's called Filmora, and
Oh,
they
wow, okay.
incorporate a lot of AI, and it's amazing how quick things get done. You know what I mean? Like it's like that you could take
Yeah,
out the whole background if you want to, like, oh, the background looks ugly. Oh, take it out. It
I'm
takes
gonna write that Filmora.
yeah, Filmora.
Okay, I'm writing that down here.
Yeah, write it down
Um,
because I'm telling you, I had a tight deadline. I was invited to submit a short to a contest. And I was
right.
like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to edit this in time. But I read about Filmora. It was very affordable. I'm like, okay. And it just cuts the time in half, like with the special effects it could do. Like it's insane. It's insane.
Wow.
like take out like backgrounds. You could take out part of a background if it's ugly, like stuff like that.
It's probably easy to use, right?
Yep, yep. And I could still be an editor. I'm still an editor. I'm just using it as a tool to like help me get it done.
Right, right. And but and yes, that takes some there's an editor who's honed his craft over 100 years, right?
Yes.
But by the way, when I started editing,
Hmm.
you know, like it was literally on a guillotine. Like it was actual film you had to cut. And like,
Right.
like that's what I'm saying. Like these processes happen and they make, I think making creativity better and faster. A,
Hmm.
because it's lowering the barrier to entry
Hmm.
with making a movie.
Yeah.
Right? So, you don't need a billion, you don't need, like Kevin Smith was famous for going to college so he could get cheaper film.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to jump through crazy hoops anymore. You just shoot it and put it on Filmora and
Yeah. Yeah.
right? You
Right.
don't need to hire 15 different editors. Like you can do it yourself almost to these days. I think it's helping creatives in a big, big way,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So, once again, like people get hung up on old processes,
Hmm.
especially, they've worked on a craft for a long time.
Yeah.
And they get paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
They get paid a
Absolutely.
lot of money. I know a color correcting guy.
Hmm.
All the other color correcting guys like basically hate him because he works like 2 hours out of the day.
Really? Okay.
But he can get done in 2 hours what most guys get done in like 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So if you need it done and you need it done yesterday,
Hmm.
call him and you got to write him a big check.
Yeah.
But 2 hours later, you have your film done,
He's
right? And it's done precisely,
he's
right? I'm sure there's an AI program that's going to replace that guy.
yeah. What a
You know
shame.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. I know. I know what you mean. Yeah.
You know
It's
what I mean? Is it going to have the eye he has? No, but it's going to be 90% there.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
going to be enough.
Yeah.
You
Do you
know,
think somebody like him though could use it as a tool? Like he could still guide,
I think 100%.
Yeah.
By the way, the best AI filmmakers I've seen, the best AI are almost all VFX guys,
Yeah. Mm,
right?
interesting.
Guys who understand that world. Almost all of the top AI filmmaking got people who are using it in filmmaking
Mm.
come from VFX backgrounds.
Okay.
Like I can't think of one off the top of my head who doesn't come from a VFX background. And it's because they have a certain skill set that's already built in that helps them with the AI. They
Okay.
also can correct stuff very easily. Like there's a bunch of it, and they know how to talk to the computer,
Hmm.
right? Because I'm assuming they've spent time programming or doing their own thing with that. So yeah, it's helping those guys. But now those guys, those VFX guys, aren't sitting around for 7 hours taking out, a piece of rope or whatever.
Right. Exactly.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? A computer's doing that, but they're also able to focus on making their own stuff. I think what hasn't happened yet is I don't think a lot of people who started off really wanted to be creatives, who got caught in jobs that were kind of 9 to 5 jobs,
Hmm.
film and TV business,
Hmm.
right? Which were good jobs, haven't really been able to transition back into being creatives. And it's tough because as a creative, you got to go out there and you got to get punched in the face a few times,
Yeah.
and you got to put yourself out there and so on and so forth. But yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I I see it as helping the business and not hurting the business.
Yeah. Yeah. I see a lot of benefits to it as well. I could see why people are nervous. And trust me, even as like a writer, it makes me a little nervous, but I found it also so far very beneficial. And they still need that human touch to be creative and to also just double check the AI's work. You still kind of need
Yeah,
that human
yeah.
touch there for sure too. So yeah, absolutely. But let me ask you another question. Somebody who worked in marketing for years in the film industry. Was there ever a time where you made a big mistake that you learned from with
Oh
marketing?
yeah, this all times. So, I mean, especially when we were doing the viral stuff,
Okay.
right? Like you think something's gonna work, you kind of map it out in your head, and
Hmm.
then you get on set. I mean, one of the biggest things I push when talking about marketing is, you know, it takes 500 people to do their job well to make a movie.
Right.
So you really don't know what the end product is going to be a lot of times.
Mhm.
But in marketing, you can really kind of figure out the marketing ahead of time and play with it and figure it out. Yes, after you have the movie, it might change and you might find something different,
Uh,
right? Be creative. But um you know, when you do the marketing ahead of time, like it really helps guide everything,
mhm.
makes it cleaner. And it's something that you really can control.
Right.
right? I'm all about things that you can control. Like a film and TV, like yes, you're making for there is a fair amount of control,
Hmm.
but you really don't know what the end product is going to be a lot of times on
Yeah.
it. I mean, how many films have you heard about that have reshoots or had
Mhm.
issues, or then you get into the theater and you're like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
Like I just watched Superman. I
Hmm.
was excited to watch Superman, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm watching right now.
Okay. You're like, what is happening?
And I have a bunch of friends who worked on that thing, and like that's a tough thing to say, but like,
Yeah.
my kids tuned out, I tuned out. We're in a movie theater.
Oh no. Oh no.
My twins asked to leave. They just wanted to go. They're just like, I don't
Wow.
want to watch this anymore, Dad. I said, okay,
Oh no.
cool. You
Okay.
know, like I'm sure James Gunn's trying to make the greatest Superman movie ever. He didn't set out to make a movie that's
Yeah.
doesn't connect with me and my family,
Right.
right? By the way, there's probably a ton of people out there it connected with. I've made a bunch of money, so I'm assuming it connected with a bunch of people.
Okay.
But James Gunn didn't set out to make that film not connect, but he had some ideas, and maybe the ideas didn't come off as well as he had hoped, or whatever. Maybe
Right.
they did. I don't know. I don't know James Gunn. But my point being is that there's a bunch of unknowns
Yeah.
when you're looking at anything and you're testing out new ideas and trying to push limits and stuff. And so
Mhm.
yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
I would
Oh,
probably say I probably make more mistakes than I make like things that are awesome.
yeah. Yeah. But that's life. I feel like everybody, especially in this industry, right? You got to get rejected like a million times, but then it's worth it when you get the one yes or the one thing succeeds. And then you're like, yes, like, finally,
Yeah,
you learn from the fails or the failures and, and then you finally get that win and it's all worth it. It's,
totally, totally. And I think most businesses are businesses of persistence,
yeah.
right? The film business and the TV business is that times 10,
Yeah.
you know? It's
Absolutely.
it's really a business of persistence. It's a business of falling down and getting back up and moving forward.
Oh yeah, yeah. I cringe when I look back at some of the stuff I was involved with. I'm like, oh God, what was I thinking? But you learn from it. You learn what
No,
not.
no, it's lessons learned, right? So,
Yeah, 100%. No, absolutely. And then my last question, this is always like a fun one. I just like to, this is kind of one where we just, what are your three favorite films and why?
ooh, see, this is where we're gonna go sideways here.
Yeah.
Well, because the films I'm going to talk about are not the films I would make.
Oh,
That's what's wild.
interesting. Okay.
Yes, yeah. I consider the best films the films that I can watch multiple times,
Hmm.
right? Like without getting tired of them, without like so. City of God is
Hmm.
probably one of my favorite films of all time.
Film.
It's that the filmmaking is just extraordinary. The storytelling is extraordinary. The visually, it's mind blowing.
Hmm.
Shawshank
Hmm.
is one of them.
Good
It's
one.
one of the top films of all time.
Hmm.
And then Terminator 2.
Good one. Yeah.
Terminator 2 is probably yeah. Top. I mean, I'm a huge James Cameron fan.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say Titanic is one of my favorite movies, but like it's just extraordinary.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard. I mean, it's hard. How do you leave off Ferris Bueller, or how do you leave off like
Yeah.
when we start talking about like top three or top five or whatever,
Yeah. It's difficult.
I
Yeah.
mean, one of the movies that, for example, there's a movie called I would never make a documentary to save my life, by the way. I tried making one once and it was almost ruined me.
Okay.
But the movie When We Were Kings
Oh, okay.
about Muhammad Ali and George Foreman.
Oh, I heard about. I didn't see it though. Yeah, I heard it was good.
There's a moment in that movie that, like, I'm gonna tear up just thinking about it. That
Mm,
is so extraordinary.
mm.
Like, you couldn't capture it any other way other than in a documentary,
Oh,
right? And like, like just thinking about it is, I'm
yeah,
like, wow, somebody was able to put that on screen.
right.
And that's mind blowing to me.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And so, yeah, I mean, that's probably one of my favorite movies of all time too. Like,
Oh.
you know, yeah,
Mm,
I look at stuff and like how does it affect me emotionally, and how does it affect the audience emotionally, right?
sure.
You
Yeah,
know, but
yeah.
like, yeah, you could turn on Ferris Bueller any day of the week,
True. Yeah, that's an
any
easy.
day of the week, anytime. You know what I mean? You could watch the Charlie Sheen scene. You could watch any part of
Yeah,
that, like the
yeah,
dancing scene, like
yeah, for
sort
sure.
of that part of that movie. I mean, I don't know if there's a greater filmmaker of that era than John Hughes.
Yeah,
You
he was
know?
the best. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a documentary coming out about John Candy, and they talk a lot about John Hughes because he was in a few of his films.
Fantastic film. Fantastic actor.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Like I can't imagine living that lifestyle he must have lived, but like,
yeah. Oof, yeah.
you know.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah. So many comedians went that route, like John Belushi, like Chris
You
Farley.
know, the hard part about the film TV business itself is that like you almost have to be crazy to be in it,
Yeah,
just because the rejection and the fist fight every day of getting up and battling and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
really like, it's a tough business emotionally to be in. And
Hmm.
I think people who are able to put a lot of that aside
Hmm.
do well, and I think and then there's people who deal with it in other ways, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. I guess to take the
right?
pressure off, yeah, instead.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah, but it's yeah, you're right. You got to be a little nutty to be in this industry. You got to be a little out there, for sure. But it depends what kind of nuts, either in a good way or a bad way. There's a little
exactly, exactly.
for sure. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for, the interview. Yeah, thank you for really highlighting the importance of marketing for films. Hopefully filmmakers that watch this understand that because I feel like you were saying like so many people underestimate, how much they should put into marketing, not even doing a good poster or whatever. And, yeah, because I just think all these things are good things for filmmakers to know, aspiring filmmakers and even professional filmmakers should kind of get a grasp.
Yeah, I think it's such a big deal, and plus you kind of want your message. Your film is a message, right?
Yes,
That message starts with the marketing.
it does.
So, you
Yeah,
know,
get that message out there. Yeah, and find your people,
so
Sure.
thank you very much for having me on. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you, Jonas. Thank you so much.